Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let me tell you something funny that happened to me when I went to Washington, D.C. I met Brad Combs from Digital Perspectives up there. So I was sitting at a table with Brad Combs, and he had brought one of these big cups, and I didn't know it at the time, but it's called a Stanley. I don't know if many of you have ever heard of this. Well, Brad, when he left the cup. And so I called him. I said, I got your cup. He's like, it's this big, huge cup. He was drinking water out of it. And he left. And anyway, I called him and he said, well, I'll just get it next time or whatever. And so I put it in my suitcase, brought it home. I get out of the, I walk in the door. When my 11-year-old walks in the door, he sees the Stanley Cup in the sink and he says, Dad, why do you have a girl cup? He says, all my friends, all the girls I know drink out of Stanley cups. I don't know anything about this. I didn't even know what that was. Then later on that evening, when my wife saw the Stanley Cup too, and she told me that she was like, why do you have this cup? Only women have this cup. And so I texted Brad Combs and I said, why am I being accused of having a cup that only girls drink out of, this Stanley Cup? And so I told Brad, I said, now that I have your Stanley Cup and everybody thinks this is a girl cup, I'm going to have to drink out of this cup all the time just because of how funny it is. So now I will be drinking out of Brad Combs' Stanley Cup. Often I like having these big cups, and now it's for girls, Brad Combs, and DAI, because I like big cups like that. I just thought that was a funny story. I was being attacked from all ends. These are the kind of cups that the girls drink out of. All right, now we'll talk about crypto. I just had to relay that. All right, the Reddit I think went public yesterday.
Online forum website Reddit is set to start trading today on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol RDDT. It priced its IPO at $34 a share at the high end of its range. Joining us now, Hope King, Axios business reporter. Hope, just the macro environment, there's risk on everywhere. We're jonesing for any IPO. There hasn't been a social media IPO in I don't know how long.
I'm not going to play this whole video. I just wanted to make the point. I think this Reddit has opened the IPO door, and I think that a lot of people are going to be, because of crypto and because of technology and everything, AI, I think there's going to be a lot of IPO hype this year. We know Circle's already filed IPO. We know Link2 is going IPO. So my sponsor, Link2, they've got all these. I know they ran out of Cerebrus, which is the AI, that huge AI chip. But they've got, I think, Ripple, Circle, all these other things. I don't think they have Link2 up there itself right now. But anyway, go check it out. They're doing all kinds of specials over the last couple of weeks. You need to go check it out. All right. I think this is important, regardless of whether you love or hate Bitcoin. I think it's important to understand how things have historically performed around this halving.
Right now is not unusual if you take a step back and look at the history of the halving as an event. What we saw in two previous halvings, which occurred in 2016 and 2020, is that there were significant retracements in price ahead of that event. In 2016, it was close to 40%. In 2020, it was more around 20%, which is essentially what we've seen in the 2024 cycle. You know, what's going on here? I think it's a couple of things. One is the uncertainty ahead of the halving, when for those who don't know, the Bitcoin halving is when the rewards that are paid to miners for each block that they mine are cut in half. So the profitability of the miners is cut in half, and hence a lot of miners tend to leave the market. It's almost like a wildfire that cleans out the Bitcoin mining space. That means that the amount of computational power or hash rate associated with Bitcoin mining goes down around the world. You end up seeing a lot of volatility around that event. But again, what's important from our perspective is what has happened historically after the halving. In 2016, we saw that volatility ahead of the halving. Then the price of Bitcoin went up 6x. In 2016, it was 17x actually. In 2020, it was 6x. The point being that we typically see an extended rally after the halving that goes on for something around 18 months.
Mark, that's good to know. Now check this out. The automated market makers are going live today. This should be interesting. And then Riz XRP put this XRP 6 years consolidation. Imagine another 58,000% from current price. This is credible crypto. Listen to this.
With people, the people who are more used to traditional TA, let's go ahead and take a look at this from a traditional perspective, ignoring alleyway for a second, and we just zoom out to the 3-day chart, and we can see that essentially what we have here is one massive consolidation following our impulse from 2017. That took XRP from less than a penny, about a 20th of a penny, to $3.57 for what was at the time a 58,000% increase, or a 580x move. We haven't seen an impulse of that magnitude since 2017. And what has followed that has been literally 6 years of essentially sideways consolidation in what I believe to be one massive accumulation range, partly because of the SEC nonsense that happened that caused XRP to fail to make new highs in 2021 when most other coins did. But as I've said, that simply means that this explosion, when we get it, should be even more aggressive and more significant. To put things in perspective once again, if this really is our first wave here, our first wave of 5, it's similar to this little move that we had down here. This was the 3rd, this was the 4th, and this was the 5th. So that kind of just puts things into context about how aggressive we can expect this next move to be. This move would be the first impulsive move, macro impulsive move on XRP that we've seen since 2017, which means that every other move that we've seen since 2017 to the upside should pale in comparison to what we have coming. I think XRP, seriously, the amount of frustration and hate and absolute destruction of hope that I see on Twitter right now when it comes to XRP is incredible. Makes me so much more confident about what is to come. Makes me so much more excited to be in position on XRP for what I think is going to be a move, the likes of which is going to leave most of the market stunned as it did in 2017. There is no doubt in my mind that we're going to see an explosive move here, and I can't wait for it to get started. But yeah, new all-time highs. I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but from a non-alleyway perspective, we have essentially consolidation of higher lows and higher highs, reaching an apex. I
1,000% agree with this guy. I think it's going to be crazy. That's why I keep buying XRP. In fact, after I do this video, I'm going to be buying more XRP. I continue to buy XRP. All right, this was an interesting clip with Linda P. Jones on Good Morning Crypto.
But like I said earlier in the show, XRP has the opportunity to do a 10x and still be less valuable from a market cap perspective than Ethereum is today. So while we had you on the show, I just wanted to show you this correlation and get your thoughts. Does this scream opportunity to you, or what's your perspective when you're looking at this data?
Oh, we are so lucky to still have low prices and be able to accumulate.
Yes.
I just think, don't worry about the price. The price will take care of itself. Mm-hmm. Remember, we have the private ledgers going on that the banks are using. We have 400 banks that have contracted with Ripple. We have private ledgers that are being used for those banks to run money. Every so often we get a glitch with a really high number, which to me is a stress test of that money that eventually will transfer onto the main ledger. So we have high prices ahead of us,
But like I said earlier in the show, XRP has the opportunity.
Let me hit that. I was actually looking to make sure I had the money in place that I needed to make my XRP purchase while that video was playing. Here's an interesting video that was going around yesterday from Riz. Vote John Deaton for Senate. I like that title.
Why do you think the XRP ledger is really, almost made for DeFi in a way? Because I think the throughput and different things make it a really good candidate for that. I don't know if you want to kind of speak on some of the, principles of the ledger that allow that to be successful.
Yeah, that's a great point. So the XRP ledger is not Turing complete, right? It's not intended to be able to build whatever application that a developer can think of. And that's the reason why we are looking into adding an EVM sidechain. But what it is built for, purpose-built, from the ground up, is payments and value transfer. So it is incredibly fast, incredibly cheap for anything payments and value transfer. As I mentioned, it has the native order book DEX, which has a lot of sort of neat capabilities built right into it in terms of price optimization. And all of this happens for a fraction of a penny. So that's really our vision and our hope as we start to partner up with different interoperability players to really make the XRP ledger a hub for value transfer, so that it doesn't matter if you're transacting on Polygon trying to buy an NFT, or you're doing some advanced DeFi strategy on Ethereum. At the end of the day, if you want to swap token A for token B using the right cross-chain infrastructure, that'll execute on XRP on mainnet and land back in your wallet without you ever leaving the chain that you're on, and executing at the fastest speed and lowest price anywhere in blockchain. So that's a vision we're really excited about.
I just bought more XRP while that video was playing. I had to get everything ready, and now we have done it. I'm going to keep accumulating as long as it's below $1. That's the fact, Jack. Now, I want to show you this, and then we'll go into the group. Ethereum Classic rides again. An XRP flippening. Devs demerge from proof of stake. Investigates. This is an op-ed. So now all of a sudden, CoinDesk is covering XRP and the Ethereum, the potential SEC going after Ethereum. Now, listen to this part about it. This is from the article. XRP wins. The XRP army has been waiting for a moment like this for years, although not visible, not as visible a conflict as Ethereum versus Solana or Bitcoin versus everyone. Many XRP fans absolutely despise Ethereum. I don't despise Ethereum. I want a level playing field. I don't want Ethereum or Bitcoin to be gone after by the SEC. I want technology to thrive in the United States. Now, does that mean that I don't think that the Ethereum founders and a lot of the people at the SEC around ETHgate should not be gone after? No. I do think that the people that were involved in any kind of corruption and fraud or anything like that need to be gone after. But that has nothing to do with the technology that is Ethereum or Bitcoin. Those should be allowed to thrive. But the problem is Ethereum's so tainted by all kinds of nefarious activity, folks. I don't know. I mean, look, the technology itself can stick around. But anyway, history likely stems from Bill Hinman, the former head of SEC's Division of Corporate Finance, declaring that ETH was not a security because it was sufficiently decentralized. The XRP army, backing its own project, has seen the intervention as unfairly picking winners in the crypto market. And you guys have not covered it, by the way, CoinDesk. Privileging one project for special consideration while downing others that look quite similar. Over the years, XRP champions, including Ripple Labs' Brad Garlinghouse, have argued that Ethereum is Chinese-controlled, that Vitalik Buterin could be co-opted by the Chinese Communist Party, that the network itself. Let me ask you a question: is is CoinDesk covering their butt right here? Because they've ignored this for years, and now that Ethereum's being gone after, you have to wonder if they're doing a little bit of butt covering here. That's a nice way of saying it. Let me see if I don't know. I got a little bit more. I'll cover some of the other stuff in the next video. Now we're going to go into DAIXRP.com, and you know, people have talked a lot about flipping the switch. I've got another one of those clips that, well, in the past we've seen them censored. Well, I've got another clip. This one will be censored if it hasn't been already. And I'm going to show you this clip where someone's talking about flipping the switch and lays out exactly how this is going to go, folks. And it's going to involve gold too, okay? But these are the kind of videos they do not want you to know about, because I'll tell you what before I play the video, when we go in there, what's going on, the manipulation and all of that. And I think we've got it pieced together now, and I'll remind you of how we've pieced it together. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. We're going to tell you the manipulation that's gone on by the West, the U.S., and then we're going to show you how that has been planned for and how the switch will be flipped. I believe for digital assets and for gold and silver and the precious metals market and commodities in general. Here we go.